everybody and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Anna, and we have reached the end of October. It's not really the end because I'm filming this on the 30th, but it's almost the end. Tomorrow is Halloween, which I'm very excited for, and as you know, with the end of the month, we are going to be talking about all the books I read in this month of October, and all of the books that I will want to read in the month of November. So this video is going to be very short because I actually don't have a big TBR for November, and I didn't read that many books in this month of October, but because I am filming this on the 30th, I'm going to be finishing, probably 2 books that I'm not going to be including in this wrap-up, which I am sorry for because I only have time to film today. So I'm going to start to talk about all of the books that I am currently reading, and one of them is A Dance with Dragons by George R. R. Martin. Now, I'm not going to, talk too much about this book because I am filming a reading vlog for this one. I think I am 45% through this book, and unfortunately I don't think this book has the same quality as the first 3 books of A Song of Ice and Fire. I don't know, I just really miss the Starks, and I think that is the issue because most of the Starks, they're dead, or they're just so far away, they don't really have a lot of weight to the story yet, so I don't really see them. I'm not with them that much. I am with Jon Snow, which thank God, and I'm also with Tyrion Lannister, also a breath of fresh air because he's so freaking funny. I love how witty he is, so I am enjoying Dance with Dragons much more than A Feast for Crows, but it still just doesn't really have the same feeling as the first 3 books, and I don't think it's going to be as good as those 3, which is a little bit sad because I was expecting, of course this is not the last book of the series, but I was expecting it to get, better and bigger, and I think it's also because this book focuses so much on Daenerys, and I don't really care for her. I don't have a connection with her. I do think that she is a very, nice child. She is so sweet, but I just don't really have a connection with her. I think it's because she has been so far away from the story so long that now that she is entering, the main plot, I just don't really care for her. But these are my feelings right now for A Dance with Dragons. But I am also reading Long Live the Pumpkin Queen because if you did not know, I absolutely love The Nightmare Before Christmas. I love it, okay? It's just such a favorite movie, and of course I'm going to be watching it tomorrow, so I thought, why not read this novel? Because I also really like Sally's and Jack's relationship, and I am 60% through this book, and I'm hating it. I am hating it so much. It's so sad. Like, I've considered DNFing this, and the reason why I'm not liking the story, first of all, I just don't think Sally has that much of a personality, and in the movie she seems a lot more sure of herself, and in this book she doesn't really know how to act, which is fine because in this book Sally gets married to Jack, so of course Jack being the Pumpkin King, she is the Pumpkin Queen, and she doesn't really know how to feel about this. She doesn't really like being queen because all of a sudden all of the people from Halloween Town look at her differently. They revere her, they look up to her, and they want to change how she looks, how she acts, and she doesn't want any of that. She wants to go back to being just the regular rag doll that she was, and she wants to be seen in the same manner that she was and perceived. And I totally understand this, but the thing is, the author keeps repeating this fact over and over and over again. I swear to you, in every single chapter, the author is telling us that Sally does not like being queen. She doesn't want to be called queen. And it's like, I get it, okay? I get it. You don't have to keep repeating this over and over again. So that is a very big hindrance. And I think that's why I'm so pulled away from the story, because I'm not really enjoying following Sally's point of view because it's always so repetitive. But the center of the story is actually interesting because, of course, as you know, in The Nightmare Before Christmas, you have all of these trees with all of those doors, and Jack enters Christmas Town. And in this novel, actually, they find a new door. Sally, or better, Zero, Jack's dog, he finds a new door that has a half moon in it. And they don't really understand what that door is. They've never seen it. And that door specifically is not, close to all the other doors. It's even deeper in the woods, and it's all covered by vines. So she uncovers it. She opens the door, and she feels a weird sensation. She doesn't like how it feels. She feels like a chill up her spine, and she's like, this door is not good. Like, this door is not good news. And she gets spooked, and she leaves it open. And lo and behold, Sandman comes out from that door. And what Sandman does is puts everyone to sleep, and now she doesn't really know what to do because all of this happened because of me, and I don't know what to do. And I think the reason why she wasn't affected was because she fell asleep. She ran away from the woods, she went to sleep, and I think Sandman was like, okay, she's sleeping already, so I don't need to do this. And then she woke up and she found out that everyone in Halloween Town was asleep, deep asleep. She went to all of the other doors, and only in St. Patrick's Day she found a leprechaun that told her, like, you need to solve this. I'm not solving this with you. I'm not going with you. I want to find my pot of gold, okay? And every everyone else from all the other doors are also asleep. She has to find a way to bring Sandman back to the dream world. And that's what she's doing. She's currently in the dream world because she's like, okay, I need to talk to the inhabitants and see what I can do. So I do like the mystery, and I do like the fact that we are seeing, you know, all of the different doors, especially in this dream world one. It is so interesting. But just how, I don't know, I just find Sally very, very annoying. The author's writing is also annoying to me. I'm just really not liking it, which is breaking my heart because I love The Nightmare Before Christmas. So this is a huge disappointment. And now let's talk about the 2 books that I read in this month of October. And I started with Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. 5 stars. 5 stars. There's nothing else that I can say about this book. This is a freaking masterpiece. I absolutely love this book with all of my heart. I read this so freaking fast. And I know it is short, but I promise you, even when classics are short, I do take like a week. I took days to read this, and it was just so good. It was so good. I just loved her writing. Mary Shelley's writing is so beautiful. It's elegant. The prose, like, it's just so amazing.
She's got a point. She's an icon. She's a legend, and she is the moment. Now, come on now.
And I felt so many things while reading this book. And of course, in this book, we follow Victor Frankenstein, and he wants to make a name for himself. You know, he's studying the human body and science, and he's like, you know what, I want to make a name for myself. I want to be known. I want to make a huge discovery that I'm always going to be remembered for. So he decides to literally pick up, you know, body parts, sew them all together, and create, you know, this sort of creature. He wants to bring the dead back to life, and that's what he does. But then he quickly realizes that he created a monster, and he is horrified by what he's done. He tries to run away from it. He isolates the creature. He doesn't really try to, you know, mend his mistake, and that is the problem. And to me, it was just so funny reading this because I didn't really understand Victor's reaction. I do understand now because I think he was so enamored by the idea of being remembered forever and revered forever for finding a way to bring back the dead that he didn't really realize what the heck he was doing. And then when he saw the creature, how ugly it was and how just weird it was, he was just like, oh my god. And at first, like I said, I was just so confused because I was like, dude, you did this. Like, you literally did this. You knew this was going to happen. Like, why are you so shocked and surprised about what you have done? Like, why are you so horrified? I don't really understand. And just the way that he deflects guilt, oh my god. Like, it, honestly, I've never seen anyone deflect guilt and gaslight himself so much like Victor Frankenstein does to himself, because he's constantly saying, oh no, this was not me. This was not me. These were my demons. My demons made me do this. You know, it was the devil. The devil put the knowledge in me. The devil was tempting me with all these things. It was my demons. Like, it wasn't me. It's not my fault. I shouldn't take care of this. It was just insane the way that he gaslighted himself. But I do feel for the creature, and now I understand why a lot of people love Frankenstein and why a lot of people defend the creature, because all the creature wanted was some company. He just wanted company. He just wanted to have one single friend, and that was all. If that creature had one friend, he would have been a nice person, literally a nice person. And just seeing how this creature wanted to live despite looking so ugly and despite being, you know, rejected by its own creator, it was really, and it is truly inspiring. So I absolutely loved Frankenstein. I loved the themes of friendship, of isolation, loneliness, of, you know, accountability. Just all of these themes are so well explored by Mary Shelley. In this short book, she managed to pack a punch, and I loved it. Okay, I have so many annotations here. Let me see if I can find, you know, a very cool quote. It shouldn't be hard. So first of all, it starts with Paradise Lost, because I think Mary Shelley was very much inspired by this work of art, and I just loved this quote from it. Did I request thee, maker, from my clay to mold me man? Did I solicit thee from darkness to promote me? Love it, because it matches so well with all of this. And of course, I have so many other quotes. And for example, this one, I love this one when it comes to grief, when she says, the void that presents itself to the soul, and the despair that is exhibited on the countenance. It is so long before the mind can persuade itself that she, whom we saw every day and whose very existence appeared a part of our own, can have departed forever, that the brightness of a beloved eye can have been extinguished, and the sound of a voice so familiar and dear to the ear can be hushed, never more to be heard. Oh, like, as you can tell, her writing exquisite. So if you haven't read Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, please do. Okay, please read it in October. The vibes are immaculate. It's fall season. You know, we have, and this is not a horror book in the sense of this is not supposed to spook you, to scare you. This is a gothic novel. Okay, so don't go with the expectation of being scared of the creature. But I promise you, this book is so freaking good. please read it because this has become, probably my second favorite classic of all time. And the second book that I read in this month of October was The Outsider by Stephen King. And I'm also not going to be, elongating myself on this book because I did film a reading vlog, and I'm sorry, okay? I couldn't edit it before I post this wrap up because I think it makes more sense, I don't know, to post a reading vlog after the wrap up. I don't know. I hope it does. But I really enjoyed this book. Now, with Stephen King, as I explained in my vlog, I read Pet Sematary last year and I didn't really enjoy it. Now, is it a good book? It is. I still gave it a 3.5 stars because his writing, amazing. I really, really loved his writing. And I loved the theme of grief that was in Pet Sematary. The problem was, I was expecting, a horror book. I was expecting to be spooked, chills go down my spine. And all I got from that book was a creepy atmosphere, which is fine. It's completely fine. It is what it is. And I just wasn't expecting it. I went in with the wrong expectations. So for this one, I had better expectations. And because I read the synopsis, I was like, okay, this is a thriller / a mystery. We are going to follow, a police investigation. And because I set, my expectations the right way, I loved this. I loved this book. It was so much fun. And of course, I gave it 4 stars. It's not perfect, but oh my God, I absolutely love this. So I love the way that Stephen King, he thrives, okay? And I have this feeling because I watched the movie It. I still haven't read the book, but I will one day. And I think Stephen King really thrives at writing small town settings. I just loved everything. Everything just felt so cozy. Everyone was, it was just, a big community. Everyone knew each other. Everybody also knew each other's business. But that's what happens when you're in a small town setting. So I absolutely loved the setting. And the characters, to me, were the strongest element of this book because I don't know, Stephen King really knows how to write dialogue. He is very, very good at that. The dialogue just seemed very natural. It flowed in a natural way, and it truly felt like you were, reading about normal people. These were people that you could be neighbors with, that you could be friends with. Everyone was just talking in a normal manner, and I think that is so hard to come across in books because sometimes the dialogue doesn't really feel natural. It doesn't feel, it feels too polished, but here, no, I truly believe that Stephen King understands the essence of what it is to be a human being and what it is to, live in a small town setting and have people know each other. And just the way that they explained and talked to each other was so, so natural. And I absolutely loved that. And of course, I loved the characters as well. I loved their character development, everything that they went through. It was just so good. And I do like the story now. The book is quite long. It is almost 600 pages. So there were times that the story felt a little slow, but I didn't mind. And the reason why I didn't mind is because you always have something new to talk about. So of course, this is a police investigation. And in this book, we follow, Rolf Anderson as he investigates the murder of a young boy called Frank Peterson in a brutal way. It's horrific the way that he was murdered, and they believe they found the culprit, which is a man called Terry Maitland. And the police force decide to arrest Terry at a very important baseball game because he is the oh my God, I forgot the word. Okay, the coach, exactly. He is the coach for the baseball team for the city of Flint City. And, they decide to arrest him in front of 1,000 people, which is horrific to say. But then they discover they made a mistake because Terry Maitland, on the day that Frank Peterson was murdered and was seen in Flint City, he was in a completely different town. And in that town, he participated in a conference that was also filmed. So now the police are like, okay, how is this possible? How can Terry Maitland be in 2 places at once? That is impossible. We have people in Flint City that saw him with Frank Peterson. What is this going on? And then they also go to the city where he had the conference and people said, no, he was here. And so now they're in this impasse and they don't really understand what's going on because, of course, one man cannot be in 2 places at the same time. And thus, the investigation ensues and begins, and they quickly find out that something supernatural might be, the cause for all of this. And even though the story felt, slow at times, because this is an investigation, it really didn't matter to me because we were always finding out new things, new clues were being discovered, or new questions were arising, or new things would be brought to these police officers. So you always had something going on. And also the themes in this book about the media and how truly, the media can affect the life of one person, not just Terry Maitland's life, but his wife's and his 2 daughters. It's insane. It really is. And it truly is like Stephen King says, these people, these journalists, so-called journalists, are vultures. They love feeding off the negativity and rumors and creating, just these crazy speculations and theories that end up damaging the, people's reputation forever. And even if Terry Maitland is innocent, they also know that, his wife and their daughters will never have the same reputation in Flint City. People will always look at them sideways, all because of the media. So if you're looking for something thrilling with a mystery, with a touch of supernatural, I would highly, highly recommend The Outsider by Stephen King. And now let's talk about all the books I want to read in this month of November, which are only going to be 2. I know, people, I know. And the reason why it's because even though, side rants, nothing to do with this, I finally finished my thesis. Oh my god, like I submitted my thesis just an hour ago and I'm so freaking happy because I do have free time. However, I'm going to start working full time, so I'm not going to have that much time to read, and that's why I'm only going to be putting 2 books on my November TBR because they are quite chunky. So the first book that I really want to read in the month of November is The Strength of the Few by James Islington. Now, this is a highly anticipated read for everyone, including myself. I read The Will of the Many, I think it was September, and I was disappointed. You know, I'm not going to lie, I was left disappointed because, in my opinion, the book is just so overhyped. It's too overhyped for me. It's not the perfection. It's not the 5-star that everyone says it is. To me, it was a 3.75, not even a 4. I don't know. I still don't really know, but I think a 3.75 is good. But I am still excited for The Strength of the Few, and of course, I'm going to be reading it with everyone else. I really want to know where the story is going because although I didn't really like the ending, I am still intrigued by it, and I do want to see where the story is going to go. And I do hope that this book ends up being a lot better than the first one, because if it's not, I might consider, just DNFing the whole series, because this is just not really a character that I just think he's such a Gary Stu. He knows how to do everything. He gets away with everything, and I really hope that the author in this second book corrects that, because if he does, I might end up liking this book a lot more. And lastly, I also want to read another anticipated read of mine, which is Empire of the Dawn by Kristoff. I think it's coming on the 15th of November for me because my mom, as a birthday gift, she pre-ordered this book, which is very nice of her. So I am expecting in November to receive this physical copy. And now this one is also interesting because I enjoyed Empire of the Vampire. It was a solid 4 stars. It was too long in my opinion. I don't think it needed to be that long. But then I read the second book, and oh my god, the second book was such a disappointment to me personally. I just gave it 3 stars, and the reason why it's because I think most of the story did not exist. Like, it was just so long for no reason. Nothing happened at all. Now, you do have a lot of character development that is important to the story, so I do give, Kristoff, the props for that. I think the character development in the story was truly necessary because we needed to create that relationship with the characters. Otherwise, all the pain just wasn't really going to affect you as a reader. So the character development was necessary, but I do think some things could have happened in the middle because it was so boring. It was just this one long quest, one long journey that didn't really bring anything to the table. And it was just, battles, but I was just like, what is this for, But the last 100 pages, oh my god, impeccable. I loved every single minute of those pages. It was just reveal after reveal after reveal, plot twist after plot twist. I loved everything that was happening. I loved where the story was going. So I am excited for Empire of the Dawn. Now, I am a little bit scared because I was disappointed with the second book, and I hope that we don't have, too much details that don't really interest anybody, and I do hope that every single thing that happens in this third book is necessary to the story. I do hope it carries it forward. I do hope that it has some sort of weight. I don't want it to just be, it's just here because I want the book to be long. No, because that's how I felt with the second book. It just felt like J. Kristoff really wanted to make this second book long as well as the first one, and I just really didn't vibe with that. So I'm really, really hoping that this third book is going to be a good conclusion to this series, because I don't want to be disappointed again, especially because look at these covers. Like, these covers are absolutely stunning. 10 out of 10. These are probably, I'm just looking at my shelves, they are probably the prettiest books that I own. And honestly, I only bought Empire of the Vampire because of the cover. It was it's just so beautiful, and even underneath the dust jacket, oh my god, and the art inside the book, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I do believe that every single book should come with, I'm not saying a lot of artwork, because I do understand that is expensive, but please come with artwork, because oh my god, the characters in my head are just so much better when I have artwork that I can reference on. So please, all of the other books have some artwork in them. It is just absolutely necessary in my opinion. But yeah, I am very excited for this release, and I do hope it's a good one. And these were all the books I read in this month of October, and all the books that I want to read in the month of November. Please let me know down in the comments all of the books that you read in the month of October. Did you read any spooky books, any thrillers, mysteries, classic, gothic books, anything that has to do with the spooky month, Halloween month, which is October. And please let me know also what was your favorite book, and what books are you hoping to read in the month of November? Are you also going to be reading The Strength of a Few? Because I've seen, that a lot of people have that one in their November TBR, so I do want to know if you guys guys are going to read it and if you're excited for it, or what are you expecting from the second book of that series. And please subscribe and like this video because it does help my channel out a lot and it gives me a lot of motivation and validation to keep filming these videos for you guys. And I will see you on my next video. Bye!